quick disclaimer, I own none of the footage shown in this video. It all belongs to Nintendo and Game Freak and whatnot. You think you know how Lance became the champion of the Pokémon League, but what if I told you that everything you know is wrong about Lance becoming champion? Cue the intro. What? We don't have an intro? Crap. But Mattcraft, didn't Proto already do a video on this? But Mattcraft, doesn't that mean that we already know how Lance became champion? But Mattcraft, aren't you stealing Proto's but Proto gag? The answer to all of these questions is yes. Except for the middle one. That would be a no. You see, while Proto did do a video on this already, it's a bit outdated, and I found it quite hard to follow. No offense, man. First off, some rules. I am only going by the games for evidence here. As far as the anime goes, Lance might as well have been champion the whole time. And I don't care much for the manga, so let's ignore that too. Now that that's out of the way, in order to know how Lance became champion, we must first know how anyone becomes champion. The answer is quite simple, actually. As shown by the ending to literally every Pokémon game. Once your character defeats the Pokémon League champion, your character becomes the Pokémon League champion. Therefore, in order to be champion, you must beat the previous champion. Simple as that. Need more proof? In Pokémon Black and White, after you defeat the Elite Four for the first time, In is shown to have defeated Alder, the Unova League champion, but has to reject the title even though he is stronger. Therefore, your character cannot become champion simply by beating In, but has to go back through the Elite Four and beat Alder in post-game. Believe me now? Good. So we know that Lance had to have defeated the previous champion to become champion himself, but that begs the question, who was the previous champion? Well, let's look at the facts. At the end of the first generation games, Red, Blue, and Yellow, the champion ends up being your rival, Blue. In order for him to become champion, he would have had to beat the champion before him. It's never revealed who this is, but one theory is that it was Professor Oak, his grandfather. For the sake of this video, let's say that's true. By the end of the Generation 1 games, you, Red, are the champion. It is shown in the Generation 2 games, Gold, Silver, and Crystal, that Lance is the new champion, and Red is the former champion. This means that between Generations 1 and 2, Lance defeated Red. Or was it between generations? What if I told you that Lance's defeat of Red actually happens in the Generation 1 games? We know that Lance was a part of the Elite Four at this time, and that in any Pokémon game, your character can have rematches with the Elite Four even after becoming champion. And they can face the old champion again for some reason. Anyways, let's say that the rematches against the Elite Four in the first generation games is completely canon. Either Red wanted to test his strength again after catching Mewtwo, or it was some kind of champion protocol to make sure that he doesn't get too weak. Red made his way past Lorelei, Bruno, and Agatha once again, but since we know that Blue being champion again is obviously non-canon, who's to say that Red made it that far? That's right, Red lost against Lance, right then and there, while rematching the Elite Four. He was stripped of his title of champion. He got all depressed and went to train on Mount Silver. Gold, or Ethan, or whatever you want to call him, conquers the gyms of both Johto and Kanto. He beats Lance, becomes the next champion, climbs Mount Silver to fight Red, beats him. Red realizes that secluding himself from society won't help him get any stronger. He goes to Unova to enter the World Tournament, and the rest is history. Thanks for watching. Hey, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like and maybe even a nice comment down below. If you didn't like it, well, then leave a dislike. It's there for a reason. I'm not gonna stop you. But hey, if you like my voice and want to hear it some more, why not subscribe and check out my other content? I do Let's Plays, though not very good at keeping up with them right now. I also do the occasional Pokémon game every November, but the only one I've completed was Pokémon Snap. Hey, you try and Let's Play a 50-hour RPG where you can't back up your save data. And if you're here because you're already subscribed, this video was part of a contest for a super cool guy named ProtoMario. He does theories of all sorts of games, specifically Pokemon. For his video on this subject that I just covered, click here. For his video on why Professor Oak was the champion before Blue, click here. Enjoy!